I think one view may be the view of a process of development in trying to grasp the weight, depth, and meaning of the experience I went through and I'm having today. Um, the intelligent design argument basically stems or circles around the fact that there's information in the biology, in our biology, that can't be explained readily by Darwinian uh, perspectives or development of process. It's there spontaneously. And I've also heard John David Ebert, and I'm going to ask him about this, to talk about it, talk about his view or what he understands about it. Um, about the stratification. There's these stratifications where life seems to spring up. There, uh, if if Darwinian evolution occurred, we'd actually see these different levels of development, which are not. I guess they aren't there. I guess the real development aren't there in the strata of history. But I understand that it's important to keep order with all the chaos that's going on, and so we need to, create a type of orderly conception so as to not be taken over by the spontaneous, random, unthought about type of behavior where we just react all the time. We don't really think about what we're doing. So in this process of development idea, I've come across quite a few people that in my studies they all seem to center around this process of development. And this idea of expecting knowledge to just be there, um, as if the information is not learned, but it's just there, and you should know, and if you don't, it's a cause for concern and possibly even punishment. This idea of justice is an idea of bringing order to the disorder. Yesterday I talked about the DMS-4 that I have, and psychological disorders. But you see, that book was written for the sole purpose of being able to diagnose for insurance purposes, so that you get paid for money. Hopefully some people were helped. Hopefully it's helpful, to bring some order to the chaos by describing all these things and understanding how they develop and how to try to contend with them. But ultimately, it was only brought about for the need of the insurance companies to be able to say yes or no to payments, money. So I find myself thinking about this argument idea, needing to have an argument, having a stance and a posture that puts oneself in opposition to something. And I think of how people need to keep themselves busy, because idle hands are the devil's workshop kind of deal. You allow chaos to enter in if there's not some good orderly direction, some goal to be achieved, some purpose and some meaning, something some accomplishment to be had. It gives direction to the mind. I just find all this very, very interesting because a lot of people get very anxious. Many people get very anxious with just being relaxed and at ease with life. And so they need to create an argument, create a problem. And even though I have different perspectives, and these perspectives seem to just, you know, they're just ideas. They just come bubbling up all the time. I've ran into a lot of people who think that they integrate it. They take a posture and stance and response that was completely unintended, which is one of an argument, setting themselves up in opposition. And this, for me, seems symbolic of an inner disunity, an inner discontinuity, an inner conflict that is being regurgitated externally. This idea of the internal reflecting the external. All these ideas of this New Age movement of thinking, positive thinking, and, willing yourself to think positive things to make positive things happen. Magically, so to say. It just, some of it seems very manic, seems very disturbed to me, as if they're not doing something, everything's going to fall to pieces, kind of thing. I think of when I was growing up, how my mom and dad worked very hard, and it was very difficult for them, and very challenging. They're a vigorous couple. They have a lot to offer the world. But there were times when it was overwhelming, and to me, I just looked at the whole situation from a view of, well, then let go. Let go of the things that are stressing you out and get back to basics. Come do something that will mellow you out. But very goal-oriented. Accomplishment is a source of dignity, and for them, they feel dignified when they accomplish the goals they have, and that's a very noble thing to watch, to observe. Though, as a child, I didn't understand all this, and basically, when you're a kid, everything's fine until it's not, and then when it's not, you make these quick assessments, very childlike assessments of things. As you get older, life is not as simple as you would have it be when you're young.